A polynomial is a certain type of function, and we're going to talk about how it's constructed and the different parts of it. So we talk about a polynomial of degree n, and it looks like this, where we've got a constant times x to the n plus another constant times x to the n minus 1, and then we continue that pattern all the way through until we get a constant times x to the 1, and then plus some constant by itself. And you can see that this constant actually follows the same pattern, because we could think of this as being multiplied by x to the 0. But x to the 0 is just 1, and so we don't actually write it. So this is what a polynomial is. This format here looks pretty complicated, and it looks more complicated than it actually is. There's a couple of conditions here that we need to be aware of. First of all, n is a non-negative integer, so we're not allowed to have x raised to negative powers, okay? And because it's an integer, okay, that means that all of our exponents are going to be also non-negative integers, okay, on the x. And then finally, this last condition here is that a sub n is not equal to 0, meaning this first constant is not 0, because that would make this term disappear, and then this next term would actually be our first term, and so we'd have actually a degree of n minus 1. Okay, the degree refers to the highest exponent on x. So let me just write a few examples of polynomials so you can see. So these are examples of polynomials. So maybe 3x squared minus 4x plus 5, or negative 7x to the 10 plus 2x to the 4 minus 3x to the 3 minus 1. Okay. Or you could even have just say x, or just a constant, maybe just 3. Okay, these are each examples of polynomials. Okay, these last ones aren't super interesting, but these are examples of polynomials. Here are some, I'll call them non-examples, things that are not polynomials. And we just would need to break some of the rules here. So the first thing I'll look at is the square root of x. Okay, the square root of x is the same thing as x to the 1/2, and that exponent is not an integer. Okay, and so that doesn't work either. The other one I want you to see is 1 over x. Okay, and you can think of this as x to the negative 1. Okay, that's a negative exponent, and we're only allowed non-negative exponents. We could also go a little more complicated. We might have something like 3x minus 4 divided by x squared plus 1. Okay, and because we're dividing here, essentially what that means is there are negative exponents in play here. Okay, and so this is not a polynomial either. Or you could even have trigonometric functions. These are not, of course, polynomials. So those are some examples of things that are not polynomials, and these are the examples of things that are polynomials.